Hey everybody, and welcome inside to another edition of Across the Table here on the St. Ignatius Broadcasting Network. This is Greg Zeiton, I'm John Fanta, and Greg, the Wildcats coming off a Week 6 victory over the Glenville Tarbloods, a game that was big for them, one in which they sort of needed to win, but Glenville was in a must-win as well, winning 24-6. They now go towards Week 7 in another matchup on the road against the Erie Cathedral Prep Ramblers. First, let's take a look at Glenville. What did you think of that performance by the Wildcats?
Well, all season long so far, we've been talking about how great the defense has been. They continued that against Glenville, to say the least. They were an ankle tackle away from a shutout. Glenville's only score was on, an 80-yard trick play. So the defense was great. They shut down Glenville's running game all day. They didn't give them anything in the passing game. And the offense took advantage of the field position the defense gave them, scored more than enough to win. And the special teams definitely helped out the Wildcats. Good kicking, good punting, and the return game was pretty well.
You think about that game and other games throughout this season. At the end of the first half, 7-6, Wildcats only up by a point due to a missed extra point by Glenville. A first half in which the Wildcats at times looked a little bit disoriented. Remember, Williams threw an interception on his first drive after the defense got a hold. But Glenville was in there for the first half. It just seemed like in the third quarter everything broke down for them.
Yeah, the first half the Wildcats did have some chances on offense, weren't able to take advantage of them. But in the second half, I'll tell you, the defense, 3 straight possessions, forced Glenville to go 3 and out. Glenville, with their not-so-great punting, ended up giving the Wildcats great field position for the Wildcats' first 3 possessions of the second half. And all 3 were scores, and after that it was basically cruise control for the victory.
Yes, the Wildcats, I think it's got to be emphasized again how well this defensive line has played, and whether it was D'Angelo Bentley or Quan Robinson or Overton at quarterback, it didn't matter because except for an end around that just happened to be kind of a trick play on the Wildcat defense, they were all over the field in this one.
Oh, most definitely. The defense stopped, like you said, all the different running backs and quarterbacks Glenville used. None of them got anywhere. That defensive line and those linebackers, tremendous job once again for, the 6th week straight?
It's just been outstanding. Only 3 plays in that second half in Wildcat territory. It just speaks so much to how this team's success has come about, the fact that this defense is so reliable. And now they move to a different test. They will go on the road this week on a Friday night. We'll have that one for you here on the SIBN audio. Greg and I will have that one for you from Dollinger Field at the Cathedral Prep's Events Center, a beautiful facility there. The crowd should be on hand for this Cathedral Prep team that is 4-1. They run a spread offense that will throw the ball a little bit more. So the Wildcats are going to get tested. They beat the Ramblers last year, but the Ramblers have got some playmakers on offense, including Damian Terry, quarterback, 6'4". He's 203 pounds, and he's a junior, and he gives it to his running back who carries the ball a lot, Delton Williams. So this is a team that will come out here, and being 4-1, got to be exciting to face the Wildcats.
Yeah, I'm sure they want some revenge for last year's loss at the hands of the Wildcats. That was one of the few really good games the Wildcats had last year. Looking at Erie Prep's offense, you mentioned their quarterback, Damian Terry. He is a dual threat, very good arm, and he can run as well. He's had 2 games with over 100 yards. The running back, they do like to run a lot, even though it is a spread offense, and then Nate McLaurin, keep an eye out on him. Little guy, but he's very fast. He's their leading receiver, and he's their playmaker on offense.
Yes, but when you look at the other side of the ball, the Wildcats offense is going to have a nice chance to get at this Cathedral Prep defense. Cathedral Prep, a team that at times on defense this year has not looked like they're on the same page, and that'll really give, on the road, you probably want to try to give the ball to McVeigh and power run it. That's a lot of times what teams do on the road, and that's what the Wildcats probably should be looking to do on Friday night.
Well, that's what the Wildcats did in the second half against Glenville. Worked for them there, so I'd expect more of the same. I mean, it's not like they're going to exclusively run it. I'm sure they will pass, but Tim McVeigh definitely a good option against a defense that isn't nearly as good as Glenville's.
Yes, and coming off that very important Week 6 win, this is 2 games now on the road where the Wildcats are facing teams that going into the games, they've got more playmakers. Obviously, we see that in front of those Week 9 and 10 matchups, the big matchups coming with St. Xavier and St. Edward. This gives them more opportunities here in Week 7 and 8 against these teams to, progress throughout their season, learn more of that offensive page and defensive page, and really get going in preparation for those last 2 matchups.
Yeah, Week 7 and 8 against Erie Prep and St. Francis. You don't really want to overlook those games and look ahead towards Xavier and Eds, but in a way they will be challenging, but they are, in a sense, warm-up games for your 2 big challenges at the end of the season.
And we'll have all that action for you Friday night starting at 7 o'clock. We'll have the Murphy Bergen pregame show at 6:45. Greg and I will look at this Cathedral Prep Rambler team, look at the Wildcats in this Week 7 road test for the Cats as they go on the road for the next 2 weeks. Should be looking for all that and more Friday night live audio. Take a listen, everybody, for the Wildcats and the Ramblers. We'll see you then.